Party people in the place to be. What's going on? It's me. It's me. If it's Sunday, then it must be time for long overdue movie reviews. This time, because we are so close to the 420 holiday, I decided to watch a long overdue movie that I was supposed to have watched apparently 15 years ago now. Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, and I oh, your demeanor is a little different this episode. Surreal? Yeah, it is. It is. It is. So what? Um, that's the only way to watch this, apparently. So Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. 15-year old movie. I don't know how much of this we're gonna try to do as non-spoilerish, but let's do it. Um, Cal Penn, John Cho, good in these roles. Let's see, fairly simple premise. It's two guys who are trying to go to White Castle for some food and the misadventures that happen along the way. I know it's 15 years old, and I know and probably the CG is not supposed to hold up, but the CG doesn't hold up. The couple of CG things that they do don't necessarily hold up. It feels very early 2000y. Like it feels like it could only have been made in the mid 2000s. Not necessarily. I mean, some dated references. Some dated references. Um, as far as technical aspects of it, it's fine. It doesn't. It's not it's not the worst looking stoner movie that it's supposed to be, or of all time. Um, I don't know what else to say, and I usually get to this point pretty quickly with the no spoiler section. Um, the acting's fine. Um, you know, the setting is fine. It doesn't feel like it overstays its welcome in terms of time. Like it seems like it fits right into that 90-minute pocket, and it's about 90 minutes. Um, okay, now we're gonna get to the spoiler section. We're gonna skip ahead if you want to the timestamp that you see on the screen as I take the sip before we dip over to spoiler territory. All right, so Harold is a grunt at a job. Gets bullied by his bosses to stay later than he wanted to. Doesn't have the balls to say hi to the girl in his building that he likes. He's a pushover early on, and Kumar is not. Kumar is the cool kid. Kumar is essentially the evolution of Cal Penn's character from Van Wilder, even though it's not officially Van Wilder, even though we get a cameo from Van Wilder. Um, he's a slacker. He doesn't. He's good enough to be a doctor, but he doesn't want to be a doctor. He just wants to buck the system and smoke weed, etc., etc. Uh, they get home. They smoke the weed. They want some food. They want some White Castle for some reason. Let's not even. I'll just mention it right here. I've had White Castle. Whatever. Oh, okay. It's a food, I guess. I remember not distinctively really like enjoying it, feeling like it's a little too bland, watery, and it's just not any particularly good flavor. So all right. So anyway, they decided they want to go to White Castle. They only want to go to White Castle. The closest White Castle that's around them is in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and they're gonna try to get there. Something, something, something. Cops on their way there. One of them Harold panics, ends up running them off the road. Adventures, adventures, adventures. Listen, um, this it's hard for me to remember the first half of this movie because this movie doesn't kick in until the second half, and I'm maybe that was when the weed kicked in, but the movie itself, I distinctly remember it not really kicking in until close to the gas station scene where actually it may have been a little bit further further down than that because Neil Patrick Harris comes in. That's where a little before Neil Patrick Harris kicks in. But yeah, the first half of this movie didn't grab or keep my attention. Um, it the jokes, I could acknowledge that they were jokes even in my altered state, but like they didn't land even though they were supposed to in my altered state. Matter of fact, they were specifically supposed to land like that, but they didn't. It just didn't quite land that way until we get to the second part and they're like, we're gonna get to this damn White Castle come hell or high water. We're gonna hang glide off a fucking cliff. We're gonna fucking I'm gonna take control of the bullies van and drive it off road and shit and almost, you know what I mean. We're gonna get there and I'm gonna stand up to my office bullies like before we actually get to all that section, right, where they're building to the fucking climax of the movie. That's where the energy, that's where the timing, that's where and it feels like that's where like the tankish weed really kicks in. Like the first part of it is a whatever movie, and then you get this wild shit of them riding a cheetah and this stupid CG hang gliding that's just terrible CG. But it's like by this point in making the movie and writing the movie, they were so fucking high they just decided they to like the first half hour was like whatever ditchweed joints, right? Half hour getting to the blunts, maybe higher shelf quality shit. Uh, and then after that second half, they're just the stickiest of the icky all the way through the rest of this movie. Because that's what it felt like. It felt like, oh, this is the movie. It feels like they had like a smaller sketch, like a smaller like hour movie that they wanted to do, 45-minute like short, and then it got hold in the studio and they were like, well, you got to do 45 to make it a full length, and they just put the other shit in just to feel like just to pad until we get to the second half. The second half, was I was kind of with it at that point. The second half, as much as Kumar is a dick, and as much by the time Harold is too much of a nebbish character for slightly too long, but eventually we get to the point where he's standing up for himself and hitting on the chick in the elevator, which would never ever work in real life, ever. That's not how that shit works, especially if you're beat the fuck up. Anyway, Neil Patrick Harris, I can see where people are coming from in terms of party Neil Patrick Harris, and I can see how they could maybe translate that into womanizer Neil Patrick Harris that he was supposed to be on How I Met Your Mother. But I still didn't get womanizer here, even though he was doing the rail of coke off of some chick's ass and like honking tits. Like it was still like he's not like I don't get womanizer. Like even in that environment, it's not like I don't think he would. I don't know. He would do drugs. Like I'm looking at him, I'm like, yeah, he would and has definitely done drugs, but like I don't see him like he ain't the type. Still to me, so I get where they could make those leaps to get him to the How I Met Your Mother bit, but I still don't see the connection of oh, he played a womanizer. How? Like he doesn't. It's not a gay straight thing either. He just doesn't. That just doesn't seem like something he would give as much a shit about as his character on TV would. Like he would be more about the drinking and the drugs. Anyway, yeah. So the second half of the movie actually picks up, which is good. Like the first half, Christopher Maloney came in and he was very over the top, very Christopher Maloney as the boiled up car repairman, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why he keeps getting these little parts in these things because he's a ham. What the fucking the show that he was just on with Patton Oswalt. I'm not gonna look it up, but that show that he was just on the fucking anyway. Yeah, with the imaginary friend. Fuck, I know the show and I like the show. I just can't fucking think of the fucking name of it. Anyway, Yeah, I can see how he gets these parts, and I can see how that led to the other shit. He's good in this. And like I said, the pacing picks up better and near the end of the movie, so it should pick up better near the end of the review. On a scale of $15, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle is worth it's worth 1050. I'd say it's worth 1050. Yeah, I'd say it's worth 1050. It's a little bit better than average. Like it ain't like I wasn't like laughing my ass off. I was enjoying it better by the time we got to the second half. Um, there were a couple of chuckles that it got out of me, but it wasn't like hysterical stuff to me. So yeah, 10 50, yeah, just like a little bit above average. It's not quite, you know, it ain't quite what I think a lot of people think it's. I think the reason this movie got the praise and has the longevity that it has really is because it's a throwback to what previous generations had with Cheech and Chong, right? Just blanket nonsensical. Just we're just seeing these characters go through all this different shit while high, and you're supposed to be high along with them, and this is supposed to enhance the experience. That zeitgeist type movie, and there was a gap there where we didn't really have those kinds of buddy weed movies or whatever that had the same tone like that. So this just fills that vacuum for a lot of people, and I get it. Um, I get it. It's not my weed choice. It's not my weed movie of choice, but I can see if you grew up in a specific pocket of time and caught it when you were in an age range of 17 to 20, like in 2005 in 2006 ish, 17 to 20, you caught it right in that age range. I get it. I get it. Party people, tell me how incredibly correct I am down there in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. Every Thursday, me and my homeboy Trey, we get together and we talk shit and laugh along the way, but mostly talk shit. It's the How Do We Even Get Here podcast. If you're all the links are down there in the description. All the links are down there in the description. But if you don't want to go all the way down there, it's tinyurl.com/gethertube is where you go on YouTube. But all the links of where you can listen are down there in the description. And as always, right? In the meantime, in between time, and as always, yeah, this is a different tone for this video. Cheers.
I'm a nice guy, I'm a nice place, with a nice smile on my nice face. Turn your back and I'm making sure my night's straight. And when you're out of town, I'll be making sure your wife's straight.